Hey, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel.
That's right, folks. Welcome back to the Wasteland. Greg the Ghoul here with my human companion, Harris, and we are back in the Wasteland today. Today, we are talking about Fallout on Amazon Prime, episode 6 of season 2. Harris, we only got 2 left.
We've got 2 left. The last 2 have been...
Oh, seismic.
Seismic is the correct word. I was looking for a word right there. Seismic is it. It is,
yeah.
There was another word that I was watching the first about 10 minutes of the John Candy documentary last night, and that's not used often anymore. Dan Aykroyd points it out when talking about old John Candy, but it's grand. The last 2 episodes have made the series grand as well. Seismic and grand, I think, are 2 very good descriptors, because my roommate came home yesterday. He's been out for a week in New York for a little film premiere of his, which has been fun. And him and his girlfriend came home, watched Fallout, watched us alongside it, which is always fun.
Oh, that's cool.
And he never played the games. His girlfriend never played the games. Episode 1 of season 2 was the first episode she watched. A day later, she binged all of season 1, and now they're over here every week watching it,
Oh, boy.
So that's just a blast to talk to them all the time about it, But he leaned over, and we've talked about it a couple times and mentioned it. But he said, I didn't watch Game of Thrones, but I know of it just from its size and how many different plot lines it had going on, all these different things. He said, this is the closest thing I think anything's come to Game of Thrones since Game of Thrones. Yeah. And I just, kind of raised my hands and went, you're preaching to the choir. Like, yeah, man, it really does feel like it. And the reverence they have towards it. And I guess there are some fans that are saying the reverence isn't there. And, we've talked about Lucky 21 or Vault 21, excuse me. And
21 and Dinky and,
Dinky the Dino and what, like the Ultra Lux is smaller than it should be and is not facing the right direction. All of those
the casinos are a little out of order on the strip. Yeah.
And Freeside's smaller. Oh, no. They had to make it look more realistic rather than have the world of a video game to explore.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I ultimately don't feel like those nitpicks are going to last. And I think the people that are nitpicking, myself even, I was nitpicking a little bit at first. I fell in pretty quickly. It's damn good, and it's taking the painstaking time to make sure.
Yeah. This is about picking which hill to die on.
Yeah.
And
which Legion Hill.
Look, you can get hung up on the little inaccuracies, knowing that transferring story from one media to another, there's going to be compromise, there's going to be changes, there's going to be things that they do for plot or convenience or whatever. That don't quite line up 1-to-1, and you can just get like really, really bent out of shape about that, or you could just hand wave it and enjoy what it is that they're giving you. And do I think that they did the Great Khans a little dirty and the Kings a little dirty? Yes. Do I think that that they could be diving more into certain aspects of things? Absolutely. But when I step back and look at it overall, those things aren't a part of the tale that they're telling beyond what it is that we're seeing. We know that there's a greater history for the Khans. We know that there's a greater history for the Kings. There's just no room for that in this story. In this story, they're an obstacle, So
and ultimately, if we want to talk about the Great Khans being done dirty, at least we got to see them for a second.
Yeah.
Most playthroughs, they don't stay in the Mojave,
And actually, a couple of them, you see again, as I found out, you see them again because they've been captured and are brainwashed in the office.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, like, yeah, I like it. They set the table, and now they're pulling different parts of it, and you see the influence of the main character's plot far and wide here.
Just to add to the Game of Thrones and the nitpicky aspect of it, we all remember how nitpicky it was when Game of Thrones came out with Game of Thrones fans.
Yeah.
I feel like that has stood the test of time, especially seasons 1 through 6.
We're not seeing Starbucks coffee cups left on set.
That was later seasons. We haven't gotten to that in Fallout yet. They only have that 6-season roadmap, is what they said, and Game of Thrones had just about a perfect 6 seasons. So
yeah,
hey, I wouldn't mind emulating that a little bit.
Yeah, I think Game of Thrones was perfect up to a point, and then boy, oh boy, did it jump off a cliff. There's a big difference between being nitpicky and shit jumping off a cliff. I do want to make that clear, but Fallout is nowhere close to any cliffs, guys. There's little inconsistencies that if you just choose to be like, this is how this universe is, you enjoy it a lot more.
And we see how fickle every moment of everything is within the games and the show. 15 years, like we've said, and like the showrunners have said.
Yeah, a lot of shit.
Think about 15 years ago in Los Angeles, or 15 years ago in New York, 15 years ago in Houston, Dallas, Seattle, for half of our audience's sake, London. They didn't look like they do now.
No, I mean, I think about 15 years ago how the building that my theater is currently in was a theater, but it was completely different, and it was before it was abandoned for 8 years. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, Littlefinger, they did you dirty, bud. They did you dirty.
They gave you such a cool plot line to have, and then did nothing.
One of the best characters in the show. So,
Aidan Gillen's so good.
Mm-hmm.
I think Aidan Gillen. It's Aidan something, I think.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, anyway, yeah. So I think that the offenses of Fallout in terms of inconsistencies are very forgivable because the story that they're telling is incredibly compelling and interesting, and I'm enjoying seeing things unfold and hearing and finding out just how deeply embedded the Enclave is in Vault Tech. That suddenly makes things make a lot of sense if why they want to engineer a whole bunch of like perfect soldiers and things like that, and the forms of super mutants and death claws and everything else is so folks on an oil rig, a couple 100 miles offshore can run the world from a puppet government, or like as a remote government, with the world on puppet strings. It's it's sinister as hell, and I am here for it. I did see a observation on Reddit that it seems like you were pre-war and you were pre-war and you were pre-war and you were pre-war, and it's the Oprah gif of that. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, though, because that's the why is everybody seemingly involved in this plot line pre-war? It's because it was a fucking pre-war conspiracy, and these are the players. These are what we are watching is a chess game in its entering its end game. So that means that all the pieces had to be set up, and that's a lot of them were set up to be. A lot of them existed pre-war, survived the opening, and made it into the future. And yeah, this is where we're watching it all unfold. So yes, if this is what you have constructed and you have ensured that your pre-war minions are going to get to the other side of 200 years, then yeah, that everybody involved is going to be pre-war. It's true, So
and I don't find it dissimilar to Fallout 4 with all the cryo chambers there. Kellogg, the guy that pulls you and your wife, or vice versa, depending on if you choose Nora or Nate, and your kid out of there, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
He's alive for a very long time. Of course, we figured out that he's cybernetically enhanced to do so, but there's just so much going on in that plot line that. Oh, yeah. So people have been alive for a long time. Sean's old now, but there's also a synthetic child. There's also, there's just a lot of factors that go into it, and they're not dissimilar to here.
Yeah.
I get a little bit of the complaining with everybody's pre-war. But also, does that not just add to the intrigue right now? Because Wilzig was almost a hero in my eyes from season 1.
Yeah.
All right. Escape the hell out of the Enclave.
Yeah.
Betray the Enclave and go save the NCR if you can.
Yeah.
That's
what is going on there.
But why? And if Wilzig was the one,
why suddenly why is he Enclave and then suddenly betrays the Enclave, steals Cold Fusion, and tries to give it to the NCR?
Is he betraying the Enclave doing that though, or is that a mission? not necessarily a mission, but who and why was he running if that's the case? There's so many other.
Why are they shooting at him if he's, if this is something that's sanctioned? It's. I have so many questions, and they're all compelling me to tune in. Like this is the good stuff, So
that thought though did just bring up another thought. There's a lot of civil war going on.
Yeah.
You think the Enclave could be in a civil war?
Oh, easily. They could easily have factions inside of themselves as an organization, and yeah, obviously they'd have folks just raring to go to tear shit apart. And the thing is that when you remove the safety rails of society, suddenly the long knives come out when it's suddenly okay and no one's gonna arrest you and prosecute you for bumping off the people above you. Suddenly everything above you is a target. Everything in your way to where you see yourself rightfully belonging it
starts getting wild quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
As we saw with Moldaver, whether she's part of the Enclave or not, it's seemingly more so, or it makes more sense. It might even make sense that she's part of the Enclave that kind of falls against the rules that have come up over time, or so on and so forth. The Enclave has friends everywhere.
Yeah.
And in different that believe in different things, that act differently, that they have friends just enough of everywhere where it confuses you. Yeah. And it's nice. And it sucks. But
and sometimes nice. they're not friends, they're just agents and plants, but they are still there. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just super stoked to see where they're going with this. They got 2 episodes left. I want to get back and see the Legion, see what they've been up to, man. Like, tell me we get Macaulay Culkin as Kaiser this season, please. That's got to happen. I know we're gearing up for a big ass brawl on the strip. I can't help but feel like that's gonna they're gonna factor in somewhere into that. But man, oh man, so many questions. So many questions got answered, and then I don't know who here in the chat actually watched the our live watch long.
Yeah, watch party with us on
watch
Tuesday,
party.
Wednesday.
Yes, that's the term I'm looking for. My coffee is not working right now. I had a very nice night going through casting notices or casting submissions, trying to get an audition set up for tomorrow night.
Yeah, I saw your text at 2:30. I was like, oh lordy.
Oh, and that was early.
I would assume so, honestly.
I'm going through about 200 submissions right now, trying to fill 30, trying to figure out who gets one of 35 slots that we have. So it's a lot of paring down. Still have to finish it today. Yeah, where was I? Yes. The first 5 minutes. The first 5 minutes, you see my jaw hit the floor, and it doesn't get picked up until well into the episode.
Yeah, because after that you jump right back to Coop, and
yeah,
that is hard to watch again. Honestly,
oh my god, the 2 of them put on a fucking clinic, dude.
Oh god, man,
they put on a clinic. It's fantastic. Stanley's, what do you think that Moldaver gave them in return for Cold Fusion? Because you're literally like she literally is getting from them eternal self-perpetuating power. My question is what would the Enclave want in return? That's because it's a literal deal with the devil at that point. So I'd be interested to hear theories on if there is a deal between the NCR and the Enclave for Cold Fusion, or at least the NCR and Wilzig for Cold Fusion. What do we think?
Well, and that I'm not entirely convinced Moldaver's Enclave as well, Stanley's, but also what else makes sense? She was alive pre-war. Now she's here, whole new name. I mean, she could just be the grandkid of a grandkid kind of deal, but really, I don't think so, And if that's the case, why was she leading the NCR?
Yeah.
what got her to that position besides, hey, I'm an enclave representative and we're going to rebuild you. You want the old government to help you rebuild the new one? Here we are. And that might have caused a little bit of an uproar within the enclave, but TBD, to be determined at this point. We're still finding out. And those plot threads are just some of the most interesting I've seen in a Fallout game in a long time.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, no, dude, there's so much intrigue here. We're eating good. It is good. It is some good, crunchy conspiracy here. Like this stuff is deep.
Sure.
What got me was, we know which water chips are gonna fail. Which vaults do you want to see run out of water?
Apparently the Boneyard is the first one they wanted to see go.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved so we know it's going to be multiple 5 megaton blasts that take out LA, but we should do a 10 megaton blast for the advertisement. It's just like the lack of humanity with which they're discussing this just made my stomach churn. Like how blasé they are about the upcoming deaths of millions of people, and nobody wants to do anything about it.
It wasn't even cold and calculated. It was let's put it on a lunchbox. Like you said, blasé. Like it was disturbing.
I mean, they're all standing around eating in the scene, completely unconcerned. They're comfortable with this. This is, and Moldaver's the only one who's not. She can't eat. She's too bothered. I really liked using her eyes as the window to the soul here to see what her thoughts were. Oh man. Yeah, that would be interesting. But then there would probably just be more inbreeding happening.
Touché.
If you get bored. But yeah, everybody eating while they're literally discussing all this stuff is just completely, or smoking in House's case. Or
just showed how comfortable they were with the idea that everything we know will no longer exist within a matter of days.
Yeah. Utterly unconcerned because they know they're fine.
But do they?
I think they at least presume that they all had vault spots. So therefore, they're like, well, and I think that they're unbothered because they think that because they have this vault spot, because they have this opportunity, that in order to earn that vault spot, they had to be a good person. I think that that's how they sleep at night. Is that they think that they're in the right and they're doing good by eliminating, the corruption in the world. I think that at the end of the day, these guys think that they're the good guys, and that's part of the reason why they're doing what they're doing. And when you think that you're in the right, it becomes a lot easier to do horrible, terrible things if you could just justify it for yourself. That's the hard pill to swallow. And just the eagerness that they had, or just the frankness about it. It was so easy for them to talk about it. And I really loved how Barb became the lens that we saw this all through, as she's witnessing, and it's clicking for her how horrible this stuff is and how oblivious everybody else to the fact that this is literally horrific beyond comprehension, and she's slowly being driven mad by it. It's great. That's so good. That's so fantastic. I don't know how I feel about the whole plot twist with Wilzig, twisting her arm and making her, vote in favor of Vault Tech dropping the bombs at that meeting of the corporations. I don't know if I like this sudden face turn and having her be so much more of a sympathetic character. I appreciated the fact that we saw her humanity. It would have felt more interesting to me if, and this is just in this moment, I'm intrigued to see where they go with it, but I think it would have felt more logical and authentic to me if she just swallows her doubts and doubles down. And that's why she goes through it. Something happens that makes her go, nah, this place needs to burn and it needs a reboot.
Well, I think she kind of does as well in the episode with one line. There's obviously, and I'm with you. It did throw me off that, hey, Wilzig was an enclave deserter, and now he was a good guy in most of our eyes.
Yeah,
which I enjoy seeing Michael Emerson being a good guy rather than a bad
so
guy
rare.
for once too. It is a rarity.
Great calculating villains. He plays great calculating villains.
And apparently another one. But and they did make Barb more sympathetic, and they make you feel for her.
Yeah.
But at the same time, before Coop knows that Will Zig was there or anything of the sort, before Barb tells him that, okay, fine, I'll tell you after you're yelling at me and we're having this conversation in the kitchen kind of deal. Will Zig is just as blackmailed as Barb. That could be a very good point too. I'm just not. I didn't love it 100%. I find it odd, but I think the thing that makes Barb still lean towards the destruction, just in her own mind, is when her and Coop are having the conversation, and she says, "Isn't this saving?" We're paraphrasing here, but she says, "Isn't this saving Janie? Wouldn't you kill the entire world to save Janie, our daughter?"
And then Coop you consider the body just looking for her, yeah.
And Coop's answer is no. Hey, like, I love my daughter more than anything else in the world, but at the same time, I'm not going to destroy the world for her not to have a future to live in.
Yeah.
And Barb is already too far gone to even think like that.
Yeah. I think I think that meeting definitely was the waking up point. And then also, I think what really got her was knowing that there was somebody above her that wasn't sharing information with her, and she's suddenly seeing that there's larger things at play.
That, and then I think the other big, essentially that long sentence in the show was very important in the sense that she said, "Yeah, there's the Enclave. People have infiltrated this, but also, I don't know who's in charge of Vault-Tec.
Yeah,
none of us do. Who do I go to fight? Who do I say don't drop the bombs to? Mr. House? He doesn't obviously. He doesn't play that large of a piece overall.
No, he runs Robco, dude. He's not Vault-Tec.
He's just making robo brains for him, and he said, "Leave me Vegas. As long as you leave me Vegas, I'll stay out of your hair and help you out."
And I give you the mechanical man. Yeah, which. Oh man. And can we talk about the masterclass between Ella Purnell and Kyle MacLachlan this week? The masterclass of subtext.
Well, we keep going off about Goggins, and then we mentioned Ella Purnell. Everybody can act really well in this, but then Kyle MacLachlan and Ella just hanging out.
They went off, man. Holy shit. That I loved her walking into the demo vault, and he's there making dinner, and he's got All Quiet on the Western Front just sitting there, and that's the
starts book reports immediately.
Yeah, just immediately tries to go back to life and go back to life as it was before all the revelations. And you know what? I love the fact that when he said, I thought the Wasteland would change you, that he was a little disappointed.
I didn't 100% think it was disappointed, because I heard the disappointment there, but there was definitely, and it's to just Kyle MacLachlan's ability to act the way he can. There was just intrigue there as well. I think both a little bit of disappointment, but also the lack of. Okay, she's still got some good in her.
Yeah,
this is good.
If the thing is that if she had been affected at all by the realities of the Wasteland, then he could easily justify everything he did, including nuking Shady Sands.
That's true.
She would be on board with it, and they could be a happy family again. And I think that there's that
chipper.
Yeah. There's that frustration with the idea that, oh, fuck, you're still an idealist. Like, how do we shatter that so I can actually, And he presents the false moral quandary of these guys are going to kill each other unless I brainwash them and control them and strip them of their humanity. I mean,
and he's not wrong.
Yeah, he had complete control of that situation. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing is that it's a false dichotomy,
Yeah.
And he's. The idea that his way is the only acceptable way to do things is horseshit. but he made such a compelling case for it. I can see that like having a huge effect, like huge effect on Lucy and her point of view.
Do you think he's ever going to remember that he has a son?
I think he thinks that that Norm's back in the vault because Norm was the timid one who was always disengaged.
Yeah.
Lucy was always the superlative overachiever,
And we saw that clearly in the fight in episode 1.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the idea that Norm is just off, like Norm is Norm. Norm is not anybody he's concerned about because he knows that Norm is just kicking back in the vault, playing, global thermonuclear war on his fucking Pip-Boy.
Yeah. I do feel like Hank doesn't respect Norm as much.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And that does kind of suck. But also, hey, he is the timid one that I still love you, buddy, but just keep hiding in the vault. You'll be okay.
Well, and Norm is coming into his own finally too, with everything that he's doing, all the intrigue that he's dealing with. He's finally getting a taste of that. And we're finding out that it's the quiet ones you have to look out for because he's the guy who actually reads all the lore.
Oh yeah. He's the guy that every computer terminal, every entry, everything.
No, he's the guy with the receipts.
If we were watching the Skyrim show right now, he'd be in the corner reading all the books.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Now, which makes him incredibly dangerous and makes him very easy to underestimate, which I think Hank definitely does. I don't think he's aware of his son's potential. I think he'll try to take credit for it whenever he finds it out, But
who does not underestimate his abilities, though?
Who?
I think Ronnie and now the other Vault Tech 31 folk.
Oh yeah, no. The guys from 31 are definitely. I was disappointed we didn't get more out of that plot line.
I was disappointed that we didn't get more, but it was really clever after watching a second time, not getting more.
Yeah,
because they set you up. Okay, we know he's searching FEV. We know Ronnie. But I almost said Bud Hopkins. Bob Hoskins is what I was thinking. Bud Askins. Yeah. His personal assistant, Ronnie. He's obviously going to do something to Norm. Something's about to happen to Norm, one way or another. Good, bad, ugly.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe particularly ugly. We'll see.
I think he gets exposed to FEV, and we know that there's many variants of FEV. So my question is which of the 31 flavors is he getting, and what's he going to look like at the end of this?
And I love that they have
how big
that.
The budget was for season 3.
Oh yeah, well, they left us with that at the end of last episode, just so it would just be lingering on our brains.
Yeah.
And the second we realize this episode that okay, it doesn't look like we're getting Norm. Oh, you get a super mutant anyway.
Oh yeah.
This is how we're going to introduce you to it. So they said you're going to see FEV next episode. You're going to see FEV next episode. We did. Just in a whole different way.
And Ron fucking Perlman, dude.
And Ron Perlman, man.
I want it. I want War Never Changes from him. I want it. Now the fun thing with him is I watched a couple of interviews with him this week talking about being a part of the show. He said he did the voiceover for Fallout 1. He did all of his voice lines for $40 in a sandwich back in the day.
Have you seen all the memes with him eating a bunch of sandwiches now?
Yeah.
That's great.
And he said he was like, when I heard they were doing a TV show, I was like, where's my phone call, motherfucker? Where's my phone call? And I'm like, yes, get this man a phone call, please.
Immediately.
I'm so glad they got him in. I'm excited. I love Ron. He's a fantastic dude. Back in my previous life, working in marketing for a toy company back in the day, I helped coordinate a lot of stuff at Comic-Con. We had Pan's Labyrinth as a product license for a minute, and Guillermo del Toro was doing a signing at our booth, signing statues of the Pale Man from Pan's Labyrinth. These are big ass statues of Doug Jones's, character. And we all know that wherever Guillermo is, all you have to do is like click your heels 3 times and spin around twice, and suddenly Ron Perlman appears. Well, Guillermo's at the booth, surrounded by people. There's no way to get and he's got one chair behind the main desk, the front desk at the booth. And I'm, supervising the crowd and everything. And it's just him, and the signing's going well. And I turn back around after 1 second. Suddenly there's 2 chairs and Ron Perlman's there.
No.
Just sitting right next to him, just chilling. Just chilling, And I was like, wait, when the hell did that happen? But that was cool. Like he just appears out of nowhere, and he's just one of the coolest guys. I loved watching Ron on Sons of Anarchy. I've seen so much of his work.
Obviously, Hellboy.
Yeah. Oh my God, Hellboy. Yeah. Before
I do love that, like you just said, you click your heels 3 times around Guillermo del Toro, and here comes Ron Perlman. I feel like Ron Perlman sits on the devil's side of the shoulder for Guillermo del Toro, and Doug Jones sits on the angel side, and they just 100%. Hang out together.
And Doug is a lovely human. He gives the best hugs. He's just a lovely, lovely human being, and I love the guy. I hope the next time I run into him, he remembers me, because he and I would chat in our booth back in the day.
He is easily one of the most talented people that just isn't name recognized throughout the globe. But if you
Star Trek fans definitely know him now. From Captain Saru, among other things.
Okay. If you talk to anybody, they're going to know something that he did, if not half the things he's done.
They'll know his body of work, even if they don't know it's him, because he's one of those actors that's not he's not a face actor.
Mm-hmm. He can be. What We Do in the Shadows. Him is is it not the Count? What is it? Maybe it's the Count. No, the Baron. He plays the Baron there with his own just face, and it's great. It's great. He's just so talented. Fallout, get Doug Jones, please. You got Ron Perlman.
Oh, dude, he's fantastic. Doug Jones. He'd be great. He'd be great, and you could fit him in the damn near any suit. Actually, he was the guy that they had in the Deathclaw suit, just because he's a big suit actor. And that the Deathclaws were practical.
They look so good too.
They look so good. Practical effects are fantastic when done well. So good. We will get my buddy who did the designs for the Deathclaws on here one morning, and we'll chat with him about the process of doing all that. But my God, just like they look so good, and they just feel so menacing. Like, you believe that. And you know what? I think the reason why they didn't chase after Lucy and the Ghoul is because they're not just hanging out there. That's not just a nest. They're guards. I think they're guarding Vault-Tec HQ. I think that Hank has got them up there guarding the entrance to Vault-Tec's HQ, which might be somewhere accessible through the Lucky 38. That's my guess. I've seen that floating around, and I kind of dig it.
I like the idea of it. Didn't it show us that this Vault-Tec headquarters is out somewhere in the Mojave elsewhere, though?
I don't recall that specifically, but I could be wrong. I mean, there's been a lot of
stuff. We see him walking up, and I feel like there was a lot of desert around it, and you see kind of the building standing alone out in the desert. Because that was episode 2, right?
All right, I could be 100% wrong.
But hell, there's always tunnels, and there's always things that they can do. We know how big vaults are underground, and if it's the Vault-Tec headquarters, how big is that one underground?
Yeah, but if you don't want somebody sniffing around, you put a Deathclaw nest there. Holy shit, man! Ain't nobody.
Well, that's the truth.
Yeah. Suddenly, everybody just goes away.
Yeah, and that would also help make sense to the fact that, hey, if we are going to be a little nitpicky, which I don't think it is all that nitpicky, the one glaring kind of really, I think, is chains and a small metal fence are not going to keep out Deathclaws.
No, but if they're trained to specifically guard that yard, they're guard dogs at that point.
Then that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
And then it makes perfect sense. And that's what I'm saying is that they're there as guards. They didn't just take that space over, because you also notice that they're not violating that border, and they're not going out to hunt.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. They're not going out to hunt. You don't see people complaining about, oh, so-and-so disappeared out of Freeside yesterday. Deathclaws must have got him. Like, you don't.
And you don't see that in the games necessarily, but there's enough implication where, okay, we see them in Quarry Junction where we're used to them in New Vegas.
Yeah.
Over that ridge and over that ridge, no matter what direction they go, they're going to have a bunch of geckos and fire-breathing geckos to eat. And that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
There's not a farm or anything to be going and grabbing a Brahmin off of in the middle of the strip. If nobody's visiting the strip,
the Brahmin Steakhouse probably isn't it has been cleaned out at this point after 200 years, so
yeah, that one Brahmin little outside of Vegas little stop that you can stop, and each of the vendors only has like 200 coins. You're just stressing, just give me as many bottle caps as you can, please. Take the weight off me so I can sprint into Vegas. Oh, Shadow Adventures, I am with you. We need a Cazador Galore episode. We still haven't seen them in the show.
Haven't seen them yet. Got to see them.
There's going to be something at some point. You know what we haven't seen in the show at all, which I'm surprised we didn't see in season 1? A bloatfly.
Oh, yeah.
They're everywhere.
Little fuckers. I mean, we finally got rat scorpions. We finally got death claws. We've had the two-headed bears, the Yagui. We've had a whole bunch of shit. Like, I think we've had a lot of the signature monsters already, but no blowflies. Yeah, you're right.
And it's not a true monster.
We had rad roaches too,
Yeah. And they're popping up frequently enough where, okay, you get about 4, 5, 6 rad roaches a season. A bunch if you look behind Barv and Ma June's door there. Maybe the death claws are eating flea soup. The blowfly larva,
Yeah.
The perfect spot, I feel like, that they could have included bloatflies were season 1, right before they get to the gulper. The gulper just being inside the lake. Why not, instead of hang Lucy down there and try to get her down, hey, I have to fend off some. Oh, maybe do that as well. But hey, I got to fend off some bloatflies that are just hanging around this lake. Any body of water, there's going to be bloatflies around, So that's kind of a surprise there. Giant ants either. That's a good point, Stanley's. That one I feel like is Vegas specific, but we're around Vegas. So
yeah.
Give us those giant ants and give us the giant geckos too. We need some big old geckos.
Yeah, some big old geckos would be really entertaining. Well, I'm so stoked for the remaining 2 episodes. I don't know where it's going. I mean, obviously we're going to see a big conflict between all the factions coming together. I think that I want to see where the drama goes between Lucy and her dad. I want to see what happened with the ghoul doing everything he can to get to that vault to find his wife and daughter. I have answers to how Janie got into a vault and Cooper didn't, and how they managed to get into one so fast after the bombs dropped. Like, I want... I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I think the Great Divide DLC might be a bit much, but that Ulysses might have nuked the 15, and that's part of the reason why the NCR has been cut off and why the factions are all dispersed. I do think that there could be credence to that.
That would make sense. And even if they...
it would make sense as to why some of the things are the way they are. And I think that, it doesn't have to necessarily explicitly be said if we know that there's this, background thing that maybe in this world the courier fucked up and Ulysses succeeded.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this season would be too much for the Great Divide one way or another. If we see Coop go through some hell, kind of in these next 2 episodes, maybe ending up in the Great Divide wouldn't be too far-fetched. And I feel like the Great Divide is less far-fetched to include than Joshua Graham. As much as I love all of that.
I think Joshua Graham and the White Legs and everything else, that's a lot of context that needs to be set up. And
you have to go a different direction towards that. That could even be a season 4 thing if you get stuck in the Mojave too long,
Yeah. If you don't want to see them get the Great Khan treatment like they did this season, or the King's treatment, then there's a lot of context that has to be built up.
A lot.
Yeah.
It would make sense to both the Courier and Ulysses both messed up in either one. Yeah, that as well.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely realistic.
Maybe in this universe or in this canonized spot, kind of, the Courier totally could have died and took out Ulysses at the same time. Or took out Ulysses or they both were friendly, and then the what are they called inside there? The crazy people in the Great Divide, all of them. All the ghouls that come after you.
Yeah.
If they wanted to drop the bombs and send everything else out, if Ulysses hadn't have kept them at bay, they would have done it first. So it's possible your courier and Ulysses both die right there, and there's a reason we have all this chaos.
Yeah, could be.
But definitely Big Mountain. If anything gets mentioned DLC wise from Vegas, New Vegas, Big Mountain makes the most sense because it can be an offhanded comment. Or we could just show up there, and that could be a place that Hank needs to take over next season. If he wants to, if Vault-Tec kind of gets infiltrated or it's not as safe as it was, hey, let's get all these pre-war folks to the most technologically advanced place we can.
Yeah.
Because Big Mountain's essentially Mojave Institute in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's right. Man, goddamn, there's just so much. You know what? I appreciate the fact that they're not relying on established characters from the franchise, that it wasn't Marcus, that we haven't run into Boone, that we haven't run into anybody else, and especially because all too easily that could just be construed as fan service. I like that this is not like Star Wars where everybody was a secret member of the rebellion. Everybody knew Luke Skywalker. Everybody was, like in on getting the Death Star plans to the rebels. Everybody, I like the fact that this feels self-contained, like it's doing its own thing, because really, honestly, it makes the universe feel like a bigger place.
Much larger.
Yeah.
And there are elements of, hey, yeah, we went to Novak. It'd be cool to see Boone and Manny Vargas, but it makes more sense where we are. And if Novak did get taken over, they probably would have gotten out of there. Boone wanted to get out of there anyway, so it wouldn't be far-fetched to see them later down the road.
Yeah.
But even if that is the case, I appreciate that, okay, we don't get to a location, and it's been all fine and dandy for the last 15 years in this location since the last time we saw it. There's life that has been lived there.
Yeah,
which is important. Do we think Helios 1 is not going to be talked about at all? It's the biggest source of energy outside of the dam itself.
That's great observation.
Or cold fusion, I guess. Now there is cold fusion, so now it's on the third tier.
I think everybody's focused on cold fusion right now.
Helios 1 also gives you access to some big boom booms up in the sky.
True. Satellites.
That could be important too.
Well, who knows if their orbit is degraded in 12 years,
Mm-hmm. Well, they hadn't messed up in a few hundred, so hopefully 12 years wouldn't do too much to them. But who knows? Excuse me. The super mutant saying you need friends to Coop may inspire him to be more willing to save Lucy and gather the others.
Yeah.
I think he was kind of, what's he going to do? He's going to go to Hank, try to kill Hank, take back Barb and Janie, and save Lucy. I think saving Lucy, no matter what, is in the cards, because he does feel bad about what happened.
Yeah.
Enough for him to get power fisted into a window and out of the window and onto a telephone pole, or not a telephone pole, a light pole.
Yeah. Also, great moment where we actually see him admit that his name is Cooper Howard. The first time we see the ghoul, him do that as the ghoul, It
was sad and sweet. And
sad and sweet, and I had this moment of like, oh shit, we're getting fast and furious with it, where he's got the power of family to save him, and then it doesn't.
Thank you, Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
Big thank you, Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
Oh God.
For the actual save. Yeah. I kind of like that he had this almost superhuman comeback, and then it didn't work,
Mm-hmm.
and it took an outside force to save him. Also, like, just such a great illustration of where society is at, where you've literally got somebody impaled on a fucking spike and nobody even stops to notice,
The only thing that I did not like about that, which was not realistic for Fallout and the world that Fallout is in.
Oh, that nobody robbed him while he was there?
Yeah, these drugs are just hanging out on the ground. Somebody would take it more than a heartbeat.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat. But hell, once again, If that's the biggest issue in the whole episode or the whole movie or TV show,
we're not doing bad.
Whoop-de-doo, you know?
Yeah.
I did like that Dogmeat went to find help, sniffed out the people that he knew that were closest and were familiar with their sins.
Yeah.
Which means to me that Thaddeus and Maximus are closer to New Vegas than Lucy is now, which makes me think that Lucy and Hank are not in Vegas, that the Vault Tech headquarters is elsewhere. Because that would be the closest. Dogmeat would just go to her, you know?
Well, unless her route is through a whole bunch of death claws and behind steel doors.
Yeah, but how did they chip the death claws too? There is a lot that you can keep them in control with some certain aspects of things, but
I still am expecting that we're going to get a fucking death claw with a monocle and a teacup at one point, asking if anybody wants to spot a tea. I think we're going to get intelligent death claws at one point.
I actually agree. Especially, did you see that thing I sent you either last night or this morning? One of the other two. It was Juicehead, I think, doing it, and he brought up a good point about how some of the Fallout 76 Fallout Shelter stuff recently introduced intelligent death claws again. And
yeah.
Do we have intelligent death claws on the strip, or what's going on? Like,
well, you know, no one has actually said hello or asked them how their day is.
That's true.
You know,
and that if they were intelligent, or even if one was intelligent and leading the others, that also would make sense to keep the other death claws at bay and not go into the town.
Yeah,
the free side.
If there's at least one of them that's calling the shots, absolutely. Yeah, man. This is why I talk to my cats like they're people, because one day they might just talk back, and I want to make sure that they know that I respect them.
Yes.
Because pound for pound, cats are the deadliest hunters on the planet, man, and you just don't want to piss them off.
Pound for pound, the amount of pounds I had to clean up this morning after a cat.
There you go.
They done pissed me off this morning.
Yeah.
But it happens. It happens. This I do like, Stanley's. May need that Death Star laser from Helios, and it goes with what Shadow Adventure said right above it, with Enclave activity being what it is in the show. Maybe the Enclave got a hold of Helios 1.
Oh,
that would be dangerous.
Yeah, it would. It would be bad. There's no good spin in that.
Well, because let's be realistic.
It's giving Blofeld the fucking death laser is what it is, you know.
Did Wilzig destroy every bit of information on Cold Fusion on the way out the door, or did he have to inject himself, grab Dogmeat, and get the hell out of Dodge? Because that's what
I think he only had time to do that.
So the Enclave has no reason to go after Hoover Dam. They barely have a reason to go after the Brotherhood anymore. Yeah, y'all stole from us, but also we still have Cold Fusion. Good for y'all, you know?
Yeah.
If they had Helios 1, yeah, they get some extra energy. Yeah, they might be able to power it through Cold Fusion. And if that's the case, they've got the Death Star laser at their disposal.
Yep. Yeah, that'd
be wild. I think it was up here. Stanley's said a question. Wasn't it a two-parter? Oh, it was the Moldaver stuff. Well, to try to see if she's not Enclave. That's right. Well, Moldaver kept on about restoring civilization. The Cold Fusion was for that goal, but it's possible she really doesn't know how despicable the Enclave are. Just a choice from her perspective based on lesser evil. Sure, but that doesn't explain how she is pre-war and post-war either. She would have had to have a...
obviously she got frozen somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think Ronnie is Bud's assistant or a spy? Do you think Ronnie could be an Enclave member?
Well, this is going to be the new pre-war reveal. You were a spy, and you were a spy, and you were a spy, and you were a spy.
Well, because technically, what? Coop's a spy for Moldaver. Barb's a spy for Wilzig. Ronnie's a spy for Bud. Hank's a spy for Whoever the hell, maybe
Enclave.
Everybody.
He's 100% working for the Enclave.
He's got to be Enclave, but he's got some kind of personal relationship with House too. I mean, he's been there a few times in a row and is very comfortable with having Cold Fusion just hanging out around him.
Which also the irony of that box not even being locked for all the security measures and stuff, you know? Like, that's a competence issue at that point.
In a big way. And what? Hank's technically a spy for Vault-Tec as well, and of Vault-Tec. Steph, spy for maybe the Enclave as well.
Yeah.
Somebody. Betty obviously has her own interests as well.
Oh, yeah. And we should actually talk about everything going on with Reg and Betty. I really appreciated seeing, like, the disruption happening in the vault where you have this where you have this regime that's trying to do what's best for everybody through austerity, and this populist movement that's demanding everything their way now. Give me convenience or give me death.
Yeah,
you know. And the thing, and they're gonna have this fuck around and find out moment where, I was only joking about the death part, and it's like, no, you know, it's suddenly it's Eddie Izzard with no, you chose death, and
if you don't want to allocate resources properly, there's only one thing left to do with you.
Yeah, starve, or in this case, die of thirst. You know,
or open up the vault and say, go knock on Vault 31 and 32, see if anybody answers you. Bye.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Or just kick them out in general. They could just leave them to the surface.
Yeah. Where do you think that first off, I also absolutely loved the musical sequence, because first off, Uranium Fever's a fucking bop. That's number one.
It's one of my favorites.
Number two, I thought that, like at first I was like, how are they putting a musical number into the show? But then using it as a dream sequence speaks to Reg's character and how he sees himself. He sees himself as this great piano player, inspiring everybody to dance. And when it cuts back to reality, he's just tapping out "Mary Had a Little Lamb." It showed that was a great way to illustrate the competence gap versus how he saw himself.
Yes.
Like fantasy versus reality, and how he thinks he's some big shit and he just sucks.
And we see it over and over again. He ran for Vault Overseer. He had confidence in himself. He thinks he's capable.
Oh, he's incredibly confident. He's probably got a high luck stat. That's how he's failed upward, you know? But he's I love that. I thought it was great, effective character building storytelling where they didn't have to say a goddamn thing. They just they just illustrated it so perfectly with this with this vision of with this dip into his imagination, which I admit took me out of it a little bit, because it's like, this is the first time that we've seen somebody's internal thought process that wasn't actually like reality.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was done in a just a poignant enough way where
I thought it was, and I thought it was fun. I mean, you could nitpick about like, oh wow, this is the first time they did this in a season and a half, but fuck it, whatever. They took a big swing, and I thought,
not going to do something like
what it was incredibly effective.
Yes,
I'm
with you. In that sense of it could have totally gone overboard. It could have been kind of milquetoast and underdone at the same time, but it was really fun for a few seconds, and then you get
they did just the right amount of it, and the perfect juxtaposition. The perfect juxtaposition.
You get that fallout. It's so fallout right afterwards where, reality still sucks. It's right there. You might have a moment of this fun kind of zany world, and then you're right back to, it's zany, and it's only fun when you're the person surviving and not getting thrown up against a wall, even if you're in a vault.
And I can understand why the vault dwellers are flocking to this, to this whole scenario. I don't blame them for wanting a break from austerity and from wanting a break from the daily struggle to survive. Because I'm sure that this isn't the first vault crisis that they've encountered. They've elected
new abandoned, or that's a made up thing from Vault 31, I think, actually.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that was such a poor man's power move, and I really loved it. With exactly. With his bare hand, you know?
Yeah. So, as we were talking about this, my brain just does some workings, and sometimes it pops up with little theory. I wouldn't be surprised, and it would be funny, and it would give another plot thread. I don't think the plot thread would last. It would really depend on what they wanted to do with it. But would you be surprised if Betty kicks Reg out of the vault?
Not at all.
As Reg gets out of the vault, oh, hey, Reg. Oh, hey, Woody. And Woody was kicked out of the vault from Stephanie.
Oh, boy. I think Woody's dead.
I think Woody's dead, too. But it also would have made sense. She would have been exiling him.
Because as much as I love Zach Cherry, he is a busy, busy man.
Yeah.
I think, I know they're doing season 3 of Severance real soon. They probably had to write him out at some point. But that would be, if they kept him around, I would totally be down for a buddy comedy of the two of them on the surface.
It'd be great. The two of them, and then maybe Norm gets split up from everybody else eventually, and now they've got like a super mutant buddy or something that's the thing that keeps them alive, honestly.
Well, and here's another observation. Hank has completely forgotten that he has a son in the vaults. It makes me think that he doesn't know about the plan with FEV.
He does. He has to. There's no way he doesn't. He was overseer and from 31 and middle management, and all the younger middle management people that just got hired within the last 2 weeks knew about it. So there's no way he doesn't.
Well, then he wants to send Lucy back to the vault where it's going to get showered in FEV.
Maybe he thinks 33 is the control.
He's not aware
of the experiment,
or maybe he's not aware of the fact that is now in motion. That was the plan eventually, but we don't know when their reclamation day was scheduled for. He thinks that reclamation day might be 100 years from now.
Yeah, well, then it's scheduled for at least 2 generations after that, is what Norm found out, I think.
I think you're right. It wouldn't surprise me if that was the case.
It was like 2 or 3 generations where he was. I thought we were ready after this generation. The next generation, no, few off kind of deal. I'm that part's odd. That's why I'm still confused with the FEV stuff specifically, because if these Vault-Tec people knew that their descendants would be turned into these things, they would probably say no. But also, can you say no in the event of, we'll save your life with the end of the world?
This was the kind of thing that 31 was going to do to 32 and 33. This was not something that 31 that I think anybody outside of the overseers was read in on. I think what they're doing is taking the survivors in 32 and 33 that aren't immediate family to the overseers and turning them into an army. Essentially, if you had a whole army of super mutants, a couple of hundred super mutants coming out of the vault to help you basically be shock troops to establish dominance and carve out a kingdom, that would be quite the advantage right out the gate.
They could be just
you have the middle management, you have a senior manager, you have the middle management, and then you have the grunts, literally. Yeah.
Huh. Because the other thing that comes to mind is maybe Vault 33 is the control in the experiment, and 32 is where they release the FEV stuff typically. Whatever strain of FEV they have for everybody. And 31 is, of course, you're just seeding new DNA into the vault so they don't, inbreed too far.
Not too much. But maybe that's part of the reason why they're not so concerned about inbreeding, because they're going to all be mutants anyway, so who gives a shit? Can you imagine the poor incest couple when they find that they're all sterile in the end? Well, actually, that'd be great. That would work out really well. Yeah.
Can their experiment go wrong, please? And just take them out. Actually, it would be funny if they were put into a centaur. The two of them together.
Oh, Lord. That's all kinds of, All right. That's a whole nightmare gallery.
Would they be happy or upset? This is the question there. Oof.
Yeah. All right.
Woody, I could be his body double. You doing all right, David? Since I know you had a trip to the doctor the other day. Hope you're all right, man. If I heard the rumors correctly, Shadow Adventure says we should be getting an episode where we do get to see a mire lurk.
Ooh.
Premium mire lurk. Give me a lake lurk. We're around New Vegas. Just something lurking. Something water lurking. Anything, please.
Mm-hmm. I'm game for it. All right. So let's we're getting towards that time. Let's go on ahead and now I think we've talked about most of like the crunch from this episode.
I think the mutant stuff and Coop and just Ron Perlman stuff is really the meat that we have left.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, glad to hear it, man. Okay. Well, where do we think we're going for the last 2 episodes now? Because boy, oh boy, I kind of want to go back and rewatch the episodes of the podcast where we talked about our predictions, and I can't wait to just see how wildly wrong it was about everything.
Yeah,
I called this so wrong, and I've never been so glad to be wrong.
About the house and all that, or what?
Just about like the season and what I thought was going to happen. You know, I think at one point I did say that we're just going to see them again, the characters play out their own story against the backdrop of New Vegas, which is what's happening. But that's not a real plot prediction.
No,
you know?
Yeah,
that was me applying TV logic. You know,
plot wise, we're in a civil war from just about every faction we can think of.
Yeah,
but now there are multiple mysterious factions as well. The Enclave remains mysterious. Vault-Tec remains mysterious.
The Enclave is relevant again for the first time in a while, if you haven't played 76 at least. You know?
Yeah, because I'm not as... I think Shadow Adventures was talking about 76 a minute ago, and I'm just not as familiar with... the Scorched and such of that.
Yeah,
I've heard of
I watched a few lore videos on what they're doing with those giant radioactive, basically dragons.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yeah. Interesting. Because we have Vault-Tec, the Enclave, as mysterious still. Whether they be benefactors or players at the table in this end game of fighting whatever it ends up being in this season.
Yeah.
But we now also have super mutants.
Yeah.
And it seems like the super mutants and maybe ghouls. I mean, because we haven't seen a whole bunch of ghouls throughout the Mojave, besides, when we hop up on the certain side, free side.
Well, besides the kids, And
the kids, yeah.
We've seen the young and cute ghouls. We haven't seen like too many ghouls this season.
And all the kids ghouls were interesting as well because they still had their regular pupils, like Coop does.
Yeah.
Where most of the other ghouls are just kind of like black-eyed, dark-eyed, where it shows that they've gone through a transformation more so.
Yep.
They don't retain as much humanity necessarily.
Yeah.
But have the adult ghouls teamed up with super mutants? Are we going to see Raul? Like, what's going on here? And I need to rewatch the part. I had to walk away because I was cleaning so much up after the cats earlier. Because I put the other episode on from this past week, or this week's episode on earlier, just for the sake of it to have it in the background. Yeah. But I missed Ron Perlman talking to Coop at that point.
Yeah.
And I feel like he says something else about the state of super mutants. I don't know if he says something about Jacobstown or not. I feel like I heard him say Jacobstown didn't work or something like that, which would suck because I love Jacobstown.
Yeah.
But it seems like the super mutants are joining together to prepare to fight back. Would it be at Black Mountain or would it be at Jacobstown, you think? And I don't know where they drugged Coop to get to where he was, or dragged him to get to where he was.
What church that they dragged him to?
Because I don't remember any churches on Black Mountain or walking up towards Black Mountain. And I don't remember any around Jacobstown, but both would make sense to have a church generally around them. I mean, at the base of the mountain, maybe. For define Jacobstown. Jacobstown is in New Vegas. It is a town founded by Marcus, who is a super mutant from Fallout 2, who has made his way to the Mojave, kind of following the NCR. But the NCR obviously isn't a big fan of mutants and such. He's trying to change that a little bit, and he's founded a friendly place for super mutants to thrive. Oh, definitely Jacobstown. My bad. Church at Searchlight. Hey, Camp Searchlight.
Yeah, maybe.
Get back into the Legionary over there.
Oh yeah, and I think we're definitely going to see in the last 2 episodes. Boy, we have a lot of threads we gotta clean up here, because we've got to resolve House, we got to resolve Cold Fusion, or at least see what the next step is. I think the Enclave is going to reveal itself further. Obviously, we have the Vault plot line with Reg and Betty, and we have. I think we're going to find out what happened to Woody. I'm also really intrigued to see what happens at this wedding. I think, you know how we've been drawing Game of Thrones parallels. I think this is Vault 32's Red Wedding next week.
Is it going to be called the Green Wedding instead?
The Green Wedding, or the radioactive
wedding? Can we go
wedding?
ahead and coin that? We're going to tweet it or put it on threads and all of them. Any social media. Hashtag Green Wedding coming next week.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh. Is the Ghoul, Cooper Howard, going to be a walking glowing one? Like a sentient glowing one?
Now that he's got that fucking uranium sitting in his chest, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Which at that point, if he becomes that, sure, he can still keep fighting and doing all these crazy things and help people, yeah. Because Ron Perlman wanted him to come help in whatever upcoming war it is.
Man,
that would make it where he couldn't save Janie and Barb, though.
Ooh.
He would be putting their lives in danger the second he got close to them. He knows where they are. He can go save them, but he can't go save them now, too.
Oh, that's tragic. That's brutal.
I hope they take the rock out of his stomach, but if they keep it there, he can't go back and hang out with Lucy.
Yeah.
He can't go hang out with anybody besides mutants and ghouls. So are we going to see a whole new part of the world opened up through Coop's eyes? Now that Coop's found a bit of his humanity again and reasoning to live, tear it away from him one more time.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And I don't know if we'll have the answer by the end of the season even. But that super mutant, Ron Perlman there. What war is he talking about?
Yeah, that is a great question. What war is he talking about? What war are the super mutants engaged in?
Are they with the Enclave? Are they friends with the Enclave? Or are they at war with the Enclave? Are they friends with the Enclave? Could that be part of it? I noticed we haven't seen a super mutant centaur in the show yet. No, we haven't. We haven't seen a few different FEV things. But it seems like they're creeping their way along, you know? I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some centaurs in the next episode or two, if we see a whole village or even just.
And I think Thaddeus is going to continue into his evolution, de-evolution too. You know, at one point, that shit's going to kick itself into high gear, and we're going to see him start taking on a real new form. Yeah.
Actually, Stanley's, you bring up a good point, because the Enclave does not like impurities, essentially, is what they say. Different than the Brotherhood and their abominations, but same coin, or different sides, essentially. That being said, though, Enclave were the people who made the FEV virus. The Forced Evolutionary virus. That's them. That's the old government. And now, here we are with them possibly infiltrating Vault Tech to make more super mutants. I'm with you, where I think this is the most logical case for whatever mutant Ron Perlman was. But also, why the hell are they making more super mutants? Or at least other mutant riddled humans, you know? It's a conundrum that they haven't answered yet. Like we started this whole episode out here with us. You said this episode was resolutions, and it was.
Yeah.
And it now made us ask another dozen questions of what needs to be resolved.
Yeah. For every question it answered, it only gave us 20 more. You know,
it was a Hydra. Cut off one head and two more.
Yep. No, I love I want to know more, man. I'm hooked. I'm down. Like, I want to see where this goes so bad. I am so excited, and I get so fucking hyped for the show every week. I really do.
I was falling asleep before the show on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, technically, I guess. Just, you know, roommates and I stayed up way too late watching movies and stuff the night before, and we were just dead, all of us, the next day. And get to nighttime, I'm ready to go to sleep again.
Yeah.
That cup of tea and the first 5 minutes of that episode was all I needed to wake right back up.
100%. 100%. I was right there ready for it, man.
Oh, so good.
So good. God damn.
Do you have any predictions leaning into next week? Just thinking about it before we start moving.
I think we do get forward movement with the Legion. We got to get back to them. We have to justify using our fucking thumbnail at one point. We do. We need to use our thumbnail again. Damn it.
It's my favorite one I've made for this season so far. It shows the NCR and the Legion.
One episode. He's too damn good in this. I enjoyed him. I enjoyed his character. I enjoyed where he's going. I want more. I want more of the Legion, please. And not just the brainwash guys. I want to see that. I want to see what happened to Reg. I want to see Woody. I want to see Woody. The wedding. Oh my god. The new buddy comedy that's happening between the Ghoul and our former Brotherhood members, with Maximus and Thaddeus. I want to see that. I want to see more of the brainwashing plot line, you know, and the automated man. I want to see that. I want to see how Lucy starts picking apart that philosophy after she has, like, after the immediate threat of violence is dealt with.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and you know who else we saw this episode very briefly? But it's another plot thread that needs to be brought up because we just said the wedding. Is Chet.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on with Chet? He didn't know he was getting married until he's up to a sign.
That's the best part. Until he finds, boy, oh boy, is that a fucking, like.
And we've seen he wants nothing to do with Stephanie or the baby. He's like, I don't want to call it Chet Jr. Why do you keep leaving me with this baby? It's you and your husband that got killed in last season. Like, it's not. Which is interesting. Chet's a good enough person to like actually help raise the kid, but oh wow,
he's trying to do right by society, but you know,
where's his head at knowing Norm's gone? He knows Norm's gone.
He's looking for an escape, and he's stuck in a sealed box, you know.
So Reg and Woody are hanging out outside of the vault at the top until Chet escapes and now is able to keep them alive because they needed Chet to live. He might not be the smartest, but he's got enough brawn. He's a big dude.
Well, you know, and I think we're seeing, you know, he knows that Steph's pre-war. He knows that she's Canadian. He knows a whole bunch of stuff now that also Steph being pre-war, knowing that she's from 31 should not be shocking to anybody, knowing that vault, you know, is what it is. You know, once again, you're pre-war and you're pre-war. It's like, yeah, no shit. Of course she's pre-war because she was from 31.
Everybody gets a pre-war.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, he is such a sympathetic character. I need to see him have some agency because right now he just keeps taking everything that he's being given. And I think growing that spine is where he's headed.
I don't think he's not grown a spine. He just has to be prodded along for the spine to be utilized. Because, yeah, in season 1, I don't want to do Norm, do we have to? And then he gets dragged over there and keeps exploring.
Yeah.
He's willing to go do, and hell, he helped Lucy, you know? Had to be kind of talked down a little bit, but he wanted to go with her. Like, he was ready to go.
He just wanted to keep doing cousin stuff.
Oh, that's true, too. It's a good thing Reg is in the other vault. He would have been the co-president of that club if he could have been. But Chet has to snap at some point. Yes, he does.
No, I agree. He is. He's gonna the wheels are gonna come off with him real soon, I think.
I think he's more information collecting.
The wedding might be the bridge too far. That might be the decision point and the breaking point for him where he either he submits completely or he rebels. And I have a feeling that we've been building up to him knowing all these things happening behind the scenes and all these, you know, like he's getting glimpses at a larger picture. And just like Barb, the parallels here, as Barb is realizing that there's larger picture, he's liking what he sees less and less.
Yes. And Stanley's did just say something, even though he doesn't want anything to do with the baby, Chet Jr. It's now coined Chet Jr. So putting the baby in danger may force Chet to action. That was a hard end of the sentence for some reason. But yeah, that would do it. If it's more that actually makes a lot of sense. If it's as we've seen, Chet's willing to go the extra mile with a little bit of backup. Yeah. Now he has to have the spine not just for himself, but the child that has
been thrust upon him.
Steph is clearly
not a fit mother.
Even less to do with the child, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there's one thing about being a career woman. There's also another thing where you just completely abdicate any responsibility for your own baby. You know, that's two separate things.
Steph, I was a big fan of
not a girl boss. She's a bad mom, you know?
Yeah. Well, if anything, in a baby's first few months of life are kind of pivotal to be around the mother.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, she should be breastfeeding the baby every chance she gets. She should have the baby around. She should be like nurturing it
and wants nothing to do with it.
Vault-Tec Blowfield wants nothing to do with it. Her and her eye patch said, nope.
Yep. Captain Eye Patch is like, nope, fuck that shit.
There you go.
Yep.
Oh God.
Amazing.
Just give her a hook and we can call her Hook. It'd be fun.
Yeah. I like her being Vault-Tec Blofeld. You know?
Yeah, it is entertaining. And it's even more entertaining that they've made her Vault-Tec Blowfield, and also she's probably a spy while she's at it. She's the 0011 or something of the Enclave.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with her, but it's going to be interesting. Her and Chet.
I'm you know, at first I was kind of very ambivalent about them having the going back into the vault and having like the support group plot line and the wedding plot line, or the you know, the Steph running Vault 32 plot lines, and they have made them some of the juiciest and most interesting because of just like how they are rolling everything out so slowly. It's delectable, and it's just enough to make you wonder more and more. And they have woven a really big, grand picture here.
They have.
That they are just revealing to us inch by inch. And damned if I'm not hooked.
I'm so hooked as well. I'm glad you just said the word again, but it's grand. It's seismic and it is grand.
Yeah. Yep.
There's just elements of everything everywhere, all at once for the reference.
There you go.
Damn, it's good. And you know,
the Daniels, fellow Emerson grads, fellow Emerson alums. So always glad to shout them out.
Heyo. Oh! I was like, what are you talking about? The Daniels, the directors. I'm there now. I'm with you.
Yep. Hey, you mentioned everything everywhere, so you know.
Swiss Army Man still might be my favorite from them. It's just so weird and delightful.
Nice.
But I'm glad we're talking about the vault stuff real quick, just because it's such a good juxtaposition to what's happening above ground. Mm-hmm. Everything in the Mojave's pretty damn brutal. The only kind of moment of levity we've gotten above ground this season so far was when Lucy got hopped up on drugs.
Yeah.
And then again, she became a kind of shitty person in doing so pretty quickly. You know, she kind of reverted back to some, let's just murder things. Oh, ghouls, they're not people. Let's just take them out, you know?
Yeah.
That of course, is not what we see old Lucy as most of the time. It's not what Hank sees Lucy as.
I am very glad to see that she is having her beliefs challenged, and that she hasn't given up, and that she is like morally the most steadfast in her beliefs that, you know, there has to be justice, there has to be decency, you know, the golden rule and all that stuff. I love the fact that she is this little lamp of goodness. And the thing is that there is no such thing as idealistic purity. There's no such thing as perfection in this world. And I think that this show actually does a great job of showing it. The slides into moral relativism, the slides into, you know, like straight up just fucking up and violating your own code. But what the thing is that in spite of any missteps, in spite of any mistakes, she doesn't give up fighting for the ideal. And just because she's not perfect in her devotion and execution to her moral code doesn't make her unworthy of being a champion for it.
No, exactly.
If nothing else, having fucked up, I think makes her a better one, you know? And I think that she's I think it's important that, yeah, that even the best of us in this world are compromised. You know, that's part of the message. Yeah.
She is. She really is, though. She's that torch that just the flame that's coming off of it is actually still has an essence of good to it. The core of the flame has good to it, whether the outsides are burning a little bit or not.
Yeah. You know, and the thing is that she's being put in ridiculous situations and ridiculously difficult ones, but hey, life's not fair.
Time and time again.
Yeah. And the thing is that at the end of the day, she's still consistently trying to follow the same code. You know, she's still learning. She's not perfect at it. I mean, I thought that the thing is that her relativism with the drugs, I think really set the table for everything going on down in the vault, where maybe she is considering like maybe brainwashing is the only way to stop all this stupid shit, you know, to stop All Quiet on the Western Front from happening.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
which is just a perfect movie to juxtapose this episode.
Oh my God, yeah, for the pointlessness of war. Yeah, absolutely, over a few inches of land. Yeah, my God. I love the fact that she is like this. She represents the struggle of all decent people still trying to be decent people in an impossible and unjust society. That's yeah, man. Like right the fuck on. Like good for them for tackling this and trying to show these moral quandaries, and also not being afraid to not have her be a Mary Sue that's so perfect at everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, gets everything right all the time. You know, to have her be someone who tries shit and makes mistakes and tries to justify stuff and does it wrong. And, you know, but still, you know, in the face of the cold hard light of reality, won't back down. And
it makes sense a lot in the way they do it, because she's from the vault. She's actually had time to study history. Those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it, of course.
Yeah,
that's the easiest saying, that they show that all the time in Fallout.
Yeah,
but she's intelligent far more than most folk.
Yeah,
and is able to do a lot of things, which give her a little confidence to try things. And as you said, she doesn't always get it right.
No,
it learns and keeps moving forward.
But I also loved, like, you take her and then you juxtapose her with Thaddeus from the Boneyard. You know, I mean, it really does like go into the debate of nature versus nurture. Him being like, I'd be a good person too if I grew up on top of a mountain of fucking food.
Yeah.
It's like
if I had him stabbing people all the time.
If I didn't have to make moral compromises every day just in the name of survival, I'd be a wonderful person too. Yeah. No, I get that, man, and I see that, and there's something to be said for that. There's something to be said for that.
I'm really happy that she is still keeps her humanity, even though we've seen it waver. above ground and under the vault. The vault is where all the fun, happy stuff keeps happening. That they have been the perfect juxtaposition to all the scary Mojave stuff that's happening throughout the episodes. Because okay, you get just a brief moment of okay, there's some intense and weird, crazy stuff, and I'm intrigued. There's some interesting plot threads, but also I'm gonna chuckle while we're in the vault. No matter what, I know I'm gonna chuckle at least once while we're going through a vault text scene.
Yeah.
And that levity has been a good juxtaposition, I think, for the Mojave. But at the same time, like you said, Lucy's the juxtaposition on top of the surface. I think Steph and Betty have totally become, and even Chet to a degree, of the three of them have become the juxtaposition for under the vault. And Reg and Woody are your two folks on either side of the aisle there that are, we've got this. Oh, we can still do this. Oh, we just got to be friendly to one another. And
oh my God, Woody breaks my heart because he's somebody who
he legitimately wants better for everyone.
He wants better for everybody, but he also legitimately believes in the corporate structure and doesn't understand that it's actually built to fuck him over, you know? And I think he dies because of it. And that just breaks my heart, you know? Yeah.
Oh, David did just put in something interesting here. I think Lucy's going to follow in her dad's footsteps. Then Maximus is going to meet her, and she'll remember who she used to be. And I'll add a sentence on top of that. But will Maximus want her anymore? If he's been seeking out somebody that's this good and pure and clean and this vault tech person that, hey, you know what humanity should be. And then he gets there and, oh, she's not so pure. She's not so clean. She's got a bunch of blood on her outfit now. And that purity, that good person that was in her.
She got blood on her hands.
Yeah, maybe she did drop a bomb too, or something. Whatever it ends up being.
I don't know. I don't know if she'd go so far as to drop a bomb. I think if she got to the point where she could push a button, that would be such a corruption of the character that you'd have to spend a lot of time justifying that.
Would you have to spend much time justifying her doing it to the Legion?
Yeah.
I don't think so. They crucified her up on a wall. And she saw them after she helped a girl get back to them. That was their slave going out to find more food for the people of the Legion. The response they give her was cut her head off.
I don't know if that automatically goes to I will nuke them and wipe them all off the planet. I think that she finds redemption in people, or the potential for redemption in people, at least, you know, in accordance with her moral code. I think it would be I think that there's a lot of daylight between they did horrible things to me and I see them do horrible things, so they all deserve to die, versus I see them do horrible things and they deserve justice. You know, there's a lot of daylight between justice and.
She did just do that to Coop, though. Hey, you did a horrible thing to me. I'm going to do the last thing I can to get you out of here. Was the last action we saw her make prior to this episode, at least. And I think the caveat that because I'm with you, I don't think she'd just be that willy-nilly, but I think she's had a bad enough experience with the Legion that if Hank were to try to convince her, and through that
Hank is the devil on
discerning
the
logic.
Hank is the devil on the shoulder. If there's anybody that could get her to do it, it would be her. It would be him. Yeah. No, I could buy that. I could buy that.
She's got to get away from him so fast.
The button that she pushed only brainwashed them and essentially gave them a better non-violent path and a better life. And she did it with an immediate need to save somebody's life.
If the Legion is going to wipe out everybody else and she knows what they've done already and she sees how they act, I don't think it'd be hard for Hank to convince her.
Yeah, but then we're talking about two different things, because if there's an imminent threat of violence and the only way to stop it is by wiping them off, I could see her with her flexible moral relativism being able to justify it. Okay. Which makes her, you know, several steps closer to Hank and his justifying nuking Shady Sands for the preservation of things. But I mean, it already worked once. It's true, but I don't see her I thought you were proposing her just going out there and just nuking them.
No, just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, unprovoked as retaliation. She wouldn't do that.
No.
But if she was presented with, if you don't drop a bomb on these guys right now, they're going to kill a bunch of people. You have the capability of stopping them. All you have to do is push this button, but it's going to kill all of them. But you'll be saving all these lives. I could see her making that compromise. I absolutely could.
And if she already saw the old dude from the NCR,
yeah,
that has been now given the chip from Hank, hey, those few, the other remnants, the last people you saw that were here that were actually good people trying to help all the other people in the Mojave and elsewhere, they're going to die if you don't do this.
Yeah.
Hank tells her that. Oh, and you've seen what they do. Just believe me.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be shocked. Also, Stanley, she wasn't on buff out, was she? Whenever she punched,
I felt like she. Well, no, she wasn't on buff out. She had the tranquilizer in her. That was
tranquilizer. That's it.
Yeah, she'd been tranquilized, and she still managed to deck him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't think her drugged up decision making right there is. I think she would have done it. She did that because she was pissed off at the choice that Coop made. She would have done that completely sober or tranquilized or
and he fucking deserved it.
But that's withdrawals and drinks. No withdrawals though, because she did a dick doll. A dick doll takes out those withdrawals, which is good.
Yeah.
At least according to the Fallout lore that they've given us that we know, so far. Mm-hmm. But yeah, tranked up, you're gonna act a little oddly, but she knew what she was gonna do prior to the trank, which is probably why Coop tranked her. He didn't know that she had the power fist right there necessarily, but he knows that she'll fight.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All righty, guys, we should get rolling. I got to get down to the theater. Well, thank you very much for this very scintillating and engaging conversation today. I am super excited to see where we go next week. We will be back Tuesday night at midnight, Wednesday morning at 8
with the watch party.
Folks, with the watch party, please join us for episode 7. Only 2 episodes left. Oh, breaking my heart. I want more. Why can't we have 23 episodes of TV anymore?
Please, come on. This one and Stargate. Come on.
For the love of God, but
please, Prime.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll enjoy what we can get for now, and we'll just keep fighting for more. But yeah, join us Tuesday at midnight Pacific, and then we'll be back next Friday with more analysis and discussion. Harris, what else you got coming up on the channel this week?
Well, we have, I guess today's Friday, so we'll see y'all Sunday for your usual Sci-Fi Sundays. And then Monday, Farscape Freon. And I guess we have a Stargate Outpost for you again coming this Wednesday. So keep your eyes out for your usual Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Of course, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning for Fallout over here. Mm-hmm. And if you're a Patreon member, we'll see you on Monday for Farscape Freon. If not, we'll see you Sunday and throughout the week. This has been a fun one. I think we covered a lot of ground here. Mm-hmm. A lot of good ground. A lot of scary, creepy, weird ground.
Yeah.
But a lot of ground nonetheless.
Absolutely. All righty, folks. Well, stay weird and wild in the wasteland, and we will see you Tuesday night.
Yeah. Love and appreciate y'all. Stay cosmic, SciTrekkers. See you in the next video.
See you next time.